Hello there. Good evening, everyone. This is Dari on WorldStreams Radio. Thank you to our listeners from all over the world for joining us tonight. If you'd like to learn more about WorldStreams, visit our website at worldstreams.org. Our guest tonight is Andrew Klavan. Andrew Klavan is an American author and screenwriter of tough guy mysteries and psychological thrillers. Two of his books have been adapted into motion pictures, True Crime with Clint Eastwood and Don't Say a Word with Michael Douglas. He has been nominated for the Edgar Award 4 times and has won twice. Andrew's newest novel, a political thriller entitled Empire of Lies, was released in June 2008, and The Long Way Home, the second in a series of 3 young adult novels called The Homelanders, was just released in February 2010, and we're very happy to have him back with us again tonight. Hi there, Saeed. Hello and welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Derry.
Hello there, Derry, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and good evening to you, Andrew Klavan. Thank you for being with us tonight. The last time we spoke, Andrew, it was actually November of 2008. A lot has happened since that time. What have you been up to when it comes to your literary adventures?
I've been working very hard on this series for young adults, The Homelanders, so that takes up an awful lot of time, and at the same time I've been trying to stay to my career writing thrillers for adults, and I also have a novel coming out later, much later this year, for adults called The Identity Man. So I've been very busy. Plus, I do a lot of political commentary, and I can be seen on PJTV online doing a bi-weekly political commentary. So it's been a very, very busy period for me.
You know what, Andrew? We will get to all that stuff a little bit later. Now, you said you've been writing you've also shifted your focus to writing for young adults. What got into your mind about doing that? Is it the marketability, or could you please tell us?
Yeah, I wish I were smart enough to take advantage of the market, but I actually don't think about it enough. What happened to me is a long time ago. It's over 10 years now. I was hired to write a draft of a screenplay for a famous British young adult novel called The Dark is Rising. It was ultimately made into a movie, but not with my screenplay. And I sat down to write this thing, and I found myself having the absolute time of my life. I mean, this was a story about wizards and magic and all this. And I remember just coming home every day and saying to my wife, I am having more fun than I've ever had. And so I kind of put it in the back of my head that writing for young adults was a fun thing to do, but I would not have thought of it again, probably, except that the publisher, Thomas Nelson, called me up, and understanding that I had contracts to do adult fiction, asked if I was interested in young adults, and I immediately leapt at the chance. I immediately said yes, I wanted to do it. And once again, it's been a tremendously fun experience.
Well, it will take a lot of concentration from you to actually, number one, understand who are these young adults, right?
It does and it doesn't. It does in the sense that you have to get, the dialogue right, and you have to get the sphere of interests right. But there's kind of a false wall put up between adults and young people. I think we understand each other a lot better than we pretend to, and certainly adults who have been young people at some point understand young people a lot better than we like to think.
So there is no such thing as a generational gap between adults and young adults?
There is, but it's not an unbridgeable gap. I think for one thing, during the '60s when there was such turmoil and such a change of pace, the gap may have been a lot wider than it is today. I mean, the music that kids listen to now is not that different than the music I listened to when I was their age. The life they live is not really all that different. And of course, I have children, so I'm privy to the world of young people anyway. And so it's just not an unbridgeable gap. I have not found it difficult, and the reactions I've gotten from young people have not been like, you don't know what you're talking about. They've been, oh, yeah, we like this.
Well, if there is no difference, then why would it be labeled as young adults as far as the target market? Then is the label just for marketing purposes, or am I missing something?
No, I think that there are two things. I mean, one is that the stories generally, stories for young adults generally take place involving young adults. So that's one thing. And the other is there are a range of subjects that I think adults wrestle with that young adults don't yet. A range of sexual subjects, of subjects about death, of subjects that I think adults do see the world differently, of course, because they've learned more and they've seen more. And I think that there are things that you don't introduce into a story with young adults. There's also, by the way, a directness I find to writing for young adults that they have a lot of competition for their attention. Video games, television, movies, all these things, and so you really have to hit them fast and hard. You have to make them interested right away. Luckily, I'm a big fan, so I know that world.
Wow, in this perspective, I think that texting definitely is the top of everything else. Now, in the Homelander series, very well action-packed, great values for young adults. Let's talk about what do you see as values, and why would Andrew Klavan, give some values in terms of the narrative of the story?
Well, for one thing, the thing that I wanted to do, that I was very concerned about. I'm kind of concerned that in America, the intellectual elite, let's call them, the people who do a lot of the writing and a lot of the reporting.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, good. I like it.
Well, you asked the question, so I'm going to.
Yes, go ahead. Love it.
I think that they've set up a default system of assumptions that I believe aren't true. Assumptions that, for instance, intelligent people don't believe in God, or that people who take care of children, housewives who take care of children, are necessarily unsatisfied. That sexuality is a casual thing. And all of these arguments can be made. I'm not saying there's anything evil about them. I simply think that they're being set up as the going assumption. And what I wanted to do is I don't want to preach to anybody. I just want to change the rules of the game a little bit. Here I am in a country that describes it, where more than 80% of the people describe themselves as Christian, and yet how often do you see a hero who, when he gets in trouble, turns to God, who prays? So I didn't want to preach. I just wanted to change the rules. I just wanted to put forward a guy, a young adult who's not a snarky, alienated kid like every kid in these stories, who is a faithful Christian, a patriot. He believes in his country, and he knows why he believes in his country. So I just wanted to change the rules and put a different kind of hero out there. There's all kinds of conformity, and I think our arts have become too conformist, and so I just wanted to shake them up a little bit.
Well, you mentioned the word conformity, but here you are putting a moral price on it, which is a conservative moral price.
Well, but how often does that appear in the arts? Almost never. It's like my kid, the kid in this story, Charlie West, is different than virtually any kid you'll find in young adult fiction. Young adult fiction. Well, for one thing, as a guy. As a guy who always liked to read adventure stories, it really bugs me that all the boys in young adult fiction are these little nerds. They walk out in their backyard and they find a sword, and then suddenly they're swept away on an adventure. My kid, Charlie, is a black belt in karate and will happily beat you down the street if you get in his way or cause any trouble. So I wanted to show a tough guy,
Is it really important to show a model, that the model of a young adult has to be somebody who is macho, who could beat the living daylight out of you, rather than some nerd? If you were to have a choice between the two, which one would you pick?
Oh, I would pick the macho guy every time.